Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Eduardo Camavinga transfer concern. Manchester United face competition for Camavinga. Fabrizio Romano did mention that Camavinga is available for €30 million. And he said Man United progress direct contacts to sign Eduardo Camavinga. He said before Jadon Sancho to Man United was a done deal that Man United were ready to make a move for Camavinga once we completed the signing of Jadon Sancho. We've already met with Camavinga's representatives. Not so long ago, the Rennes sporting director gave us an update and he said that Rennes have been in discussions with other clubs over a potential transfer for Camavinga. And the player spoke about Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. Rennes are prepared to cash in on Camavinga rather than risk him leaving on a free next year. Camavinga has made around 82 appearances for Rennes. He made his debut at the age of 16. He's been in Rennes' senior squad since 2018 and he's been at Rennes since 2013. Obviously, he came up at their academy. Now, I want to delve into some more news on Raphael Varane. So, according to AS, Man United are in advanced negotiations to sign Raphael Varane from Real Madrid. Raphael Varane is very close to signing for Man United. Real Madrid could accept a £42 million bid. Varane wants more money. Varane agrees to join Manchester United. We've offered Varane a contract worth €12 million. He said that Man United is set to offer $50 million for Varane. Real Madrid want Donny van de Beek on loan as part of the Varane deal. We've set the price for Van de Beek. We want around £2 million to loan him out. Chelsea have been looking to hijack our move for Varane. PSG have been in for him, but Fabrizio Romano did mention that it's impossible for him to go to PSG because PSG have got Sergio Ramos, and Romano did mention that Varane is open to the idea of joining Man United because it's unlikely he'll extend his time with Real Madrid. But Romano did confirm that Man United have made contact with Real Madrid for Varane, but he said there's been no official bid yet. But he says the personal terms are not an issue. We have agreed the personal terms with Varane. Varane wants his move sorted within the next 2 weeks. Real Madrid offered Varane a renewal contract offer, but Varane rejected it. And Real Madrid gave Raphael Varane's agent an approval to hold talks with Man United. We went in for Varane 10 years ago under the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Varane is regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world. He's highly experienced. And if he came to Man United, Varane and Harry Maguire would complement each other very well in our back line. He's got a great pedigree as a player. He's won 18 major honours with Real Madrid. He's been long servant at Real Madrid. He's been with them over 10 years. He's made 360 appearances in all competitions. And Real Madrid got Varane from Lens back in 2011. So there you go. Solskjaer has said he wants 2 more signings when Varane to Man United is official. So far, we have made 2 signings in this summer transfer window. Obviously got Tom Heaton on a free transfer. And we got Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. But I did say I'm expecting us to enjoy a very, very good summer transfer window. Because I am very convinced that Solskjaer's going to get all the players he wants to recommend in. It's about time Solskjaer got, the backing he deserves, because he wasn't backed for such a long time. Before the summer transfer window opened, he said Solskjaer had been given a 150 million transfer budget to buy around 4 or 5 new players. And our board said, they'll back Solskjaer with summer signings plus a new 3-year contract, despite the Europa League final loss to Villarreal last season. We're obviously going to offload players in this summer transfer window, so reflecting on that will generate money. Solskjaer, like I've said time and time again, I don't think he's the long-term manager for Manchester United, and I think a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect, but Solskjaer does deserve next season. There's United fans that are Ollie in, but there's also United fans that are Ollie out. Obviously, they've got their reasons behind it. But next season is going to be massive for Solskjaer, and I think he's aware of that. Next season, I'd say Solskjaer needs to win a trophy if he is to remain Man United manager. Because Solskjaer's not yet won a trophy, and we haven't won a trophy since 2017, which is 4 years ago. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. If we do decide to sack Solskjaer at some point next season, who's going to come in to replace him? I think we need someone in with a proven pedigree and someone who's going to suit the strappings of the club. Solskjaer's made it clear that he wants to win the Premier League next season. And I'm convinced we can win it next season if we can get Varane and someone else in. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, which is 8 years ago. But next season will be Solskjaer's 3rd full season, because at the moment he's endured 2 full seasons. And he's been in charge of Manchester United for almost 31 months, which is over 2 years. Reflecting now on he's been at the football club, he has gained some managerial experience and he has learnt quite a bit on the job. And he's tried a few different elements, he's tried different formations and he's rotated the squad a lot. Obviously, before Solskjaer was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. He endured 2 spells at Molde, and before Molde, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. The reason he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting them relegated, and Ollie managed the Man United reserve team for a couple of years, so he watched some of the team grow and develop. So Ollie hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. But whether Solskjaer succeeds or not as Man United manager, I'll still always adore him, because at the end of the day, he is a club legend. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United, and he flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. Solskjaer's most iconic moment as a player was 1999, when he scored in stoppage time in the Champions League, finally won the club the treble, and that's the club's greatest achievement. But the reason Ollie's still Man United manager is because he's a club legend. That's what's basically saved him. You know, we've had bad periods under Ollie where he has been very, very close to getting sacked. Ollie has just under a year left, does he? On the current 3-year contract he signed when he got the job permanently back in March 2019. But we did appoint Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. He's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. I think Solskjaer is our best manager since Ferguson, despite me criticising him a lot during his managerial tenure at Man United. Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. And he knew he had a lot to do when he got appointed in. And, you know, like I've said, Solskjaer deserves credit in quite a lot of aspects, you know. I think he has done a good job, to say the current squad he was left with when he got appointed in as Man United manager. I didn't expect him to do as well as he has done, so in that aspect, I am shocked. In that aspect, I am shocked, yeah. When Solskjaer got appointed in as Man United manager, he assured everybody would get their chances to express themselves, including the young players, and more or less everybody's being given their chances. I like the way Solskjaer develops the youth. You know, he has made good signings as Manchester United manager. He has now spent over £300 million. You know, he's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in. Not so long ago, we released 8 players. 6 of them were academy players. I can't remember all the academy players' names, but I know we released Sergio Romero, and we also released Joel Pereira. Back in January this year, we let Igalo go. We let Tiedemann Menga go out on loan. We let Jesse Lingard go out on loan to West Ham. Lingard did very, very well whilst he was out on loan with West Ham. But Lingard, I think, could be staying at Man United now, because West Ham are struggling to meet Jesse Lingard's £25 million asking price. And Lingard told Solskjaer in a meeting not so long ago that he wants to stay at Man United, and he's demanded regular game time. Lingard's got like a year left on his current contract at Man United. But the reason we loaned him out in January is because he got frozen out of our squad. Now, it said the other week that Man United offered Jesse Lingard a new 3-year contract worth £130,000 a week. We let Marcus Rojo go in January. We also let Timothy Fosu-Mensah go. We loaned Facundo Pellistri out in January as well. And in the other transfer windows Ollie's enjoyed, he's let a lot of other players go, hasn't he? Don't forget we loaned Diego Dalot out to AC Milan. We loaned Andres Pereira out to Lazio. We've seen players like Young leave the club, seen Valencia leave the club, seen Smalling leave the club, seen Darmian leave the club, seen Herrera leave the club, seen Fellaini leave the club. I think, was he the first player to leave under Ollie? seen Angel Gomez leave the club, seen Sanchez leave, seen Lukaku leave. We loaned Dylan Levitt out at one point. We loaned James Garner out. We loaned Taheef Chong out. We loaned Dishan Burned out as well. So, there you go. In Ollie's first full season, he got us to 3 semi-finals and he got us a 3rd place finish. In his second full season, he got us to the Europa League final, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final last season, got us a 2nd place finish, and last season went the entire season without losing away from home in the Premier League, which is a record. And we've enjoyed very good periods under Ollie, where we have seen consistency. So these, positives. But, when we have been inconsistent, not all of the blame has stemmed from Ollie. Obviously, he's accountable for some things, though, isn't he? Next season, Solskjaer's decision-making has got to improve because in a lot of the games he's managed at Man United so far, he's been tactically naive. Obviously, the Glazers, they've been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. I hate the way the football club has been run for a long time. The Glazers have obviously been criticised a lot. A lot of United fans were protesting against the Glazers at Old Trafford towards the end of last season because the Glazers have put the club in so much debt. They've been at Man United for 16 years. They bought the club for 500 million back in 2005. And Woodward, he's been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. Obviously, Woodward is resigning at the end of the year because it got announced earlier on this year that Woodward will resign as Manchester United vice chairman. He's had a 16-year association with the club. The players I'm expecting to leave in this summer transfer window is Anthony Martial. I'm expecting Donny van de Beek to leave. I'm expecting Matic to leave. Brandon Williams, he's going out on loan by the looks of things, like I updated you on my last video. Southampton closing on a loan deal for Brandon Williams. It's the right decision to put him out on loan to obviously gain him more experience and to get a lot more opportunities because Williams seldom plays for us. He's our 3rd choice left back, last season only made 14 appearances. In the 2019-20 season though, Brandon Williams made 36 appearances. Before the start of last season, Williams got given that number 33 shirt. I'm expecting us to offload Phil Jones. I'm expecting us to offload Tuan Zebe. I think Delors leaving and we'll be looking to get rid of Andres Pereira permanently. Daniel James, there's a good chance we're going to offload him. De Gea, could offload De Gea. I think we should, to be honest with you. De Gea's going to hold talks with Solskjaer over his future after the Euros. ESPN said that De Gea is unsure on Solskjaer's final decision. De Gea is determined to stay at Man United and he's determined to win his place back and he's not sulked since losing his spot to Dean Henderson. De Gea's been long servant. He's endured 10 years at Man United and he's made over 500 appearances in all competitions and he's won everything domestically at the football club. A few years ago, De Gea was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world, but in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the mistakes he's made. But De Gea was our number one for such a long time. So, there you go. Obviously, we haven't been the same team since Ferguson retired. You know, no one is going to replicate what Ferguson did, and no one's going to last as long as Ferguson did. Not in my lifetime, anyway. You know, Ferguson endured 26, 27-year tenure at Man United, won 30-odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. So, reflecting on that, Ferguson brought success to the club, but Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because they didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. So, that just indicates that it takes some managers time to settle in. Good job Ferguson didn't get sacked any time that 4-year period, or wouldn't have had any success. But since he retired, you know, 3 managers have been sacked. We sacked Moyes, we sacked Van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. So Ole is our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson. You know, there is good players though at Manchester United. You know, there's players that have improved as well. You know, I think Dean Henderson, he's a very, very good goalkeeper. He said not so long ago that Solskjaer's chosen Dean Henderson to be our number 1 goalkeeper for next season. You know, Dean Henderson did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for last season. Plus, he's got that experience behind him because he endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield, and he's had other loan spells before. And before the start of last season, Dean Henderson signed a 6-year contract with the club. So reflecting on that, he committed his future to Man United. Luke Shaw, you know, he's a very, very good left back. He's improved. Luke Shaw was our best player last season by far. Shaw still remains our first choice left back despite the arrival of Alex Telles last year. And I reckon Shaw's had a good career at Man United despite his injuries. Shaw's been with us now over 7 years. Now, Alex Telles, I don't really have much of a perception on him because he's hardly played, but in some of the games he was involved in last season, he was consistent. When we got Telles last year, I think all United fans expected him to be our first choice left back. We got Telles in a deal worth 15.4 million from Porto. Harry Maguire is a decent centre-half. But we certainly overpaid for him. You know, we got him for £80 million. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club, just behind Paul Pogba. Maguire scored in England's 4-0 win against Ukraine not so long ago. Maguire was a big miss for us towards the end of last season because he had ligament damage in his ankle. He sustained it in the 3-1 win against Aston Villa. Eric Bailly, you know, I think he's a decent centre-half, but my element of concern about Eric Bailly is too injury-prone, so in that aspect he is a liability. Towards the end of last season, Eric Bailly signed a new contract with Man United until 2024. There's an option of a further year. Probably made a mistake giving him that new contract. We got Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016 for £30 million. So Bailly's been with us now for over 5 years. And Wan-Bissaka, he's a good right back. You know what? He's probably one of the best right backs we've had since Gary Neville. Defensively, he's always been superb. But he's got to show more attacking intent. But there was some games last season where he did get forward well. Bissaka's endured 2 full seasons at Man United. We got him in a deal worth £50 million from Palace back in the summer of 2019. McTominay, you know, he's decent as well, but he's not yet on that level where I want him to be at. He certainly needs more time at the club. He's been part of the club for a long time as it stands. Just after the first lockdown last year, McTominay signed a 5-year contract with Man United, so reflecting on that, he committed his future to the club. You know, Paul Pogba, we've been getting the best out of him in recent months. Towards the end of last season, produced his best performances. He does bring creativity to the team. It's possible that Pogba could leave in this summer transfer window, but I'm expecting him to remain at Man United for next season. I thought Pogba enjoyed a very, very good tournament for France. Obviously, France are no longer in the Euros because Switzerland knocked them out on penalties. But Pogba scored a very, very good goal for France against Switzerland. Not so long ago, he had a fallout with Adrien Rabiot. I think Pogba will be happy to stay at Man United as long as we match his ambitions. Now, Pogba's had a long-running transfer saga. You know, PSG have been in for him. Fabrizio Romano did recently say that PSG are interested in signing Paul Pogba, and PSG have made contact with Paul Pogba's representatives. Not so long ago, Pogba's agent Mino Raiola held talks with PSG's president. PSG want to partner Pogba with Wijnaldum in their midfield. Kimpembe said the other week that Pogba would be welcome to PSG. Real Madrid have been linked with PSG. Juventus have been in for him. Juventus is Paul Pogba's former club, and Barcelona and Inter Milan have been in for him before. I think we want around 72 million if we are to sell Pogba in this summer transfer window. Now, Sky Sports News said not so long ago that Man United were in ongoing talks with Pogba's representatives over a new contract. Said want to make Pogba the Premier League's highest paid player with a new 5-year contract worth £104 million, which equates to around £500,000 a week. Pogba's current contract expires next year because last season we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. We fear losing Pogba on a free transfer. Ollie said not so long ago he hopes Pogba stays and signs a new contract. But as it stands at the moment, he's our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him, and Pogba's enjoyed 5 seasons at the club since he rejoined. You know, Bruno Fernandes, obviously, he's very, very good as well. I recently give you the news on him. Fabrizio Romano come out and said that Man United are looking at a new contract for Bruno Fernandes. He said towards the end of last season that we was willing to double Bruno Fernandes' wages to £200,000 a week. At the moment, he's on £100,000 a week. Fernandes' current contract expires in 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. We got Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020 in a deal worth just over £67 million. Bruno Fernandes is our best player and one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. He won Player of the Year last season and he's won Player of the Month quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. But in most of Bruno Fernandes' games, he's been very consistent. But there's also been quite a few games where he's looked off the pace, but that's because we've overplayed him. Fernandes has been with us now for like 17 or 18 months. Predominantly plays as a number 10. Mason Greenwood, he's also very, very good. He's been an absolute revelation since he broke into our senior squad, despite him going a long period without scoring. Last season, Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. Greenwood made his senior debut in 2019 and he's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been part of the club for a long time. There could be a problem now with Mason Greenwood with obviously Jadon Sancho coming in. Marcus Rashford, he's obviously good when he wants to be, but there's aspects of his game that I've got to improve. Rashford has endured his bad periods and he sustained some injuries last season, so he's become injury prone. We need to keep Marcus Rashford out on that left hand side because that's where he's more effective. Edison Cavani, he's made a fantastic impact since he's coming as well, and I'm glad that Edison Cavani's staying for next season. Romano said towards the end of last season that Cavani agreed a 1-year contract. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.